Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. Prospect Alen Babic has been confirmed to face Eric Molina, the former two-time title challenger, on October 30 on the undercard of Dillian Whyte vs Otto Wallin. So as we know, Babic originally was meant to face Lucas Browne, but about a week or so ago he was pulled from the card and Molina is the replacement. So we'll talk about that a little bit later on. And this matchup in general, I've definitely got some thoughts on this because there seems to be a two-speed economy with Alen Babic's career. And what I mean by that is there's the hype and then there's the reality, and we'll talk about it. But first, you can see here on screen the press release, so we'll get to the quote. So Alen Babic says, "The Savage calls upon his army once again. The stage is the O2 Arena. The opponent is Eric Molina. The Savage is coming home. Pain is on the menu that night. Let us embrace it. I don't want a normal fight. I want a painful one. Eric Molina, I hope you are ready because it's going to be a painful night. Happy Halloween, Eric." And Molina, he says, "The heavyweight division is on fire. These are the explosive fights that people want to see. I plan to use my size and experience to my advantage. This is a very dangerous fight for Babic." Well, I'm not sure that anyone was really calling for Molina versus Babic and that this was a fight people necessarily wanted to see, but it's the fight people are going to get. Also on the undercard, so if you just see below, you've got Thomas Carty, so he's a southpaw that has been sparring with Dillian Whyte. He was in the Anthony Joshua camp. He's been in Filip Hrgovic's camp earlier this year. So he'll be there for his second heavyweight pro fight. Also, Johnny Fisher, the Romford Bull, he is facing Alvaro Torreiro. He recently fought, I believe it was Solomon Dakers. I could be mistaken on that. That's just off the top of my head. But anyway, Torreiro has been on a Matchroom card before. So there is 3 heavyweight fights on this undercard, with obviously Dillian Whyte and Otto Wallin topping the bill. Quite a few number of other fights there as well, as you can see. But in terms of this matchup, Eric Molina and Alen Babic, I think there is the potential that Molina, who obviously is the bigger guy by a couple of inches, he's got some reach on there, but he is a guy that often fights, a little bit smaller, so I don't think there's going to be any pronounced sort of, height difference in making it look like David versus Goliath or anything like that. But Molina can punch. So out of the guys that Alen Babic has faced before, Molina may be the biggest puncher. He's got a very good and dangerous left hook. We've seen him knock out the likes of Thomas Adamek and also, rocked Deontay Wilder. That was about 5 years or 6 years ago, whatever it was. But it really has been downhill for Eric Molina since. His record at the time of this video, 28-7. He's basically had a slew of losses since he lost to Deontay Wilder, got wrecked by Anthony Joshua in a few rounds. Dominic Breazeale beat him after Molina retired on a stool. Filip Hrgovic KO'd him in 3 rounds. That was on the Joshua and Ruiz 2 rematch card in Saudi Arabia. Fabio Wardley stopped him last year, or should I say earlier this year in March, and that was in 5 rounds. And he gave Wardley just a few moments of something to think about. But that was a case that Fabio Wardley was kind of posturing and, posing and showing off and playing with his food. And he did get clipped by Molina and hurt. So if Alen Babic is taking this lightly and doesn't respect Molina's power, he could certainly walk into something. That's a possibility. But in saying all that, Eric Molina is a husk of a husk these days. He's not up to much. He sort of falls into that category of fighters that if I don't see them again, I'm not too fussed, because there is diminishing returns with facing him. Certainly, he seems to take 1 or 2 hard shots in his fights, and then it's all over. So Babic and Molina, it is what it is. And as I say, there's a sort of a 2-speed economy with Babic's career. One is the hype and the other is the reality. And the reality is Eric Molina's Alen Babic has not really been moved that quickly. He's not really being pushed at a rate that's going to test him beyond his means. So in the scheme of things, it is basically traditional prospect building, just with over-the-top hype. The way Babic and some of, his cohorts carry on, you'd think he was taking down all-time greats and guys with massive power. But I think it is careful matchmaking. Molina presents some challenge, but if Babic is good enough, he should get by him. Molina's a washed 39-year-old former two-time title challenger, and the reason to fight him is because he is that former two-time title challenger. It's a bit of name recognition and credit for his resume. And when you consider who he's been fighting, Mark Bennett, Damian Chambers, Tom Little, Niall Kennedy, Shondell Winters, there's a little bit of name recognition there. And I think that Winters win at the time that he got that was actually decent. But the rest of these guys, not punchers, certainly struggled with him to a large extent. Bennett was able to hang with him for 5 rounds, but Bennett didn't really have any power, and both of these guys were gassed out after about 3 rounds. So it looked like 2 homeless guys fighting over a wedge of cheese at points. But Molina is probably the first guy that's got a bit of pop that you could go, well, if he catches him, he might be able to change the fight. But it is one of those sort of scenarios where more than likely, Eric Molina, and this is what has happened in recent fights, going to take a few punches at some point and then sort of find the canvas and find a home there, and it'll be all over. Doesn't like to sort of take too many shots, Eric Molina. He will be defensive, he will be negative, he will just sort of hang around and sort of throw the odd speculative shot, but don't expect much from Molina. So there is a chance, a puncher's chance, but he is washed at this point, and it is careful matchmaking. But it makes me wonder what happened with the Browne situation, because I haven't really seen too much about that. Lucas Browne obviously had posted a clip, a week ago, and here's just a tiny portion of it.
It's happened for years, and I'm just over it. I really just over it. I'm fit, I'm ready, I want to fight.
So saying that the fight was off and he didn't really know why, and as often Lucas Browne does, the couple of clips that he posted about this sort of situation disappeared from his social media. So whether he was told to take them down, I don't know. Sometimes he just deletes stuff. Maybe he has second thoughts. Maybe he didn't want to sort of ruin any potential future fight. But he seemed to be in shape for Lucas Browne. He was ready. He was able, apparently, to go over there. But for whatever reason, the fight was cancelled. And actually, that's not a bad thing. I mean, Lucas Browne at this point, like while Eric Molina is a husk of a husk, Lucas Browne is damaged goods and could get seriously hurt. 42 years old, he's taken a number of hellacious sort of beatings and knockouts in the last couple of years. That was dangerous. So from that standpoint, this is a better fight. But, it's a small step up from Lucas Browne. But it's not the sort of fight and the way that Babic and others, around the sort of promotional side of things talk about this. They're going to say, look, Eric Molina's game, he's up for this. He'll, come to take on Babic, yada, yada, yada. But we know how this is going to go, how this is going to roll. But I have to also take a step back and go, okay, well, we know what Babic is all about. This is somewhat, in part, a hype sort of situation. They're trying to build him. It's aimed at, promoting this guy to casuals, building a name. We can see through. Most of us, for this point in his career, know that it's largely a gimmick. It's a promotional type thing. He's doing something a little bit different to get people hooked in. And he has been delivering on the entertainment front. He hasn't been fighting killers. He hasn't been fighting guys that, are really going to push him and basically, he's at the risk of losing. He's been in no 50-50s, but he is a guy that brings the entertainment. He comes forward. He likes to fight. He swings. He is an entertaining fighter. So I have to balance the realities of the situation against let's just ride this and just see where this goes, because we know he's entertaining, but he is somewhat limited. I think at a certain level, he is going to get beaten and comfortably enough. But for now, he can blast out guys like Eric Molina in, a fun couple of rounds. Hopefully it goes a round of, more than just 30 seconds or 90 seconds. Hopefully it goes a couple of rounds. And maybe even he gets something out of this. Maybe Molina does land something and he has to just sort of back off, reassess, and just perhaps not go to complete war with Molina and just, get him out of there in a bit more of a traditional manner. But I don't think that would impress everyone either. But anyway, Molina and Alen Babic. It's on the Dillian Whyte Otto Wallin Undercard. What do you make of it all? Drop a comment loud and often. Hit like, hit subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.